Here are some tips from Jill.
I think with nutrition, the nutrition panels on the food are really great, and they've been such a big help to us as trying to get an idea of how much protein that's in various foods. But I just recommend that you use the nutrition panel as a guide only, and also recommend that you look at the ingredients list to see and make sure that those ingredients are suitable for a PKU person, because sometimes it doesn't always work out that they are. Sort of an example of that would be, a chocolate bar that when you times it out and work it out by the nutrition panel, it says that it's relatively low. But one has to always remember is that PKU people aren't allowed milk or milk products, so it may be or may not be a food that would be wise to put in a PKU person's diet. I think particularly really young PKU children, whereas a teen or an adult probably would get away with it better in their diet. When eating out, I find that it's always good to try and see what's on the menu at a place. But sometimes you can be asked out at the spur of the moment with friends, and it's not always possible to, plan ahead. But I just think if you look at the menu and try to make the best selection possible for a PKU diet, that's good. And another thing too, if you have, say, a bad day, PKU fee-wise, don't beat yourself up about it. Just make sure that the next day you have a lower day. Another thing I find too with going out, if I know I've got to go out for a meal, say it's lunch, well, I try to plan breakfast a lower meal, and then try and plan dinner as a low meal too, just to keep the overall count of fee down for the day. I find that sort of works really well. Stop duplicate. And another tip I have is to make sure you teach children how to cook. But I'm not just talking about how to manage their own PKU with yummy low protein recipes. Also teach them how to cook regular food, because one day they will need to know that, particularly the girls, because later on, they will have to manage their own diet and the diet of a family. And at the beginning might be alright to get hubby to do his own cooking, but in the end, as a mother, you need to know how to cook both PKU food and food for your non-PKU children. Also, something I found interesting is to try and explain to your children along the way when you're cooking what different kinds of high fee foods actually taste like, because everything tastes a bit different, and when you can't eat it, it's very tricky to understand, all the differences. And lastly, these points I feel very passionate about, and I feel they're of utmost importance. When children get to the age, the puberty ages and it is very, very important that you sit down with your kids and explain the implications of an unplanned pregnancy. With boys, as well, because, you know, it could happen that they get a girl pregnant and there is a possibility of PKU child being an outcome of that pregnancy. And he can't shirk his responsibility in that situation. But even more importantly for your PKU daughters, because it's very important that pregnancies are planned to the letter. And I just feel it's just that is just so important in this day and age. And though some of you may think 12 is too young an age to start those talks, believe me, as the mother of 2 teenage daughters, in this day and age it is not too young at all. I know myself, I knew from the age of 12 that my mum had said to me, you know, if later on you have a boyfriend and you know, things are getting a bit serious, you think you might want to take the next step along in the relationship, please come to me so we can get you on the pill. And I knew that from the age of 12. And I just think it's just so important for girls and guys to know about the implications of pregnancy.